All right, page 2 of your test review. Number 6, the weight of an object on Earth is directly proportional, to the weight of the same object on the moon. A 300-pound object would weigh 48 pounds on the moon. How much would a 65-pound object weigh on the moon? So proportions look like this, right? So we need to create our own proportion. Now they gave us pounds on the moon and pounds on Earth, right? So we want to set up a proportion. Now it doesn't necessarily say which one needs to be on the numerator or denominator. So I'm going to say, since they said Earth first, I'm going to do Earth over moon, and my other proportion has to also have Earth on the numerator so that we set up the proportion equally. So we're going to go ahead and set up our proportion. So we got Earth, which is the first value they gave us, 300, over that moon's weight would be 48, and it has to be equal to 65. So how much would a 65-pound object weigh on the moon? So 65 means that's the Earth weight. How much would it be here on the moon? So we're going to say M for moon. So we can do cross products to multiply diagonally. So we're going to multiply, I'm going to do my variable first because 300 times M is the easiest. So that's 300M. Bring this equal sign down. And now we're going to do the other cross products. So 48 times 65, which gives me 3,120. So we have an equation that we're solving. So this is being multiplied, the inverse is to divide. So now we have M alone, and we're going to divide 3,120 by 300, and you get 10.4. So our answer is 10.4 pounds on the moon. All right, question 2. Determine the slope from the given table. So you have two options. Option 1 is find two ordered pairs. So let's say I did 1, 4, and let's say I did 3, 2. And you can use the formula. Okay, that's option 1. Option 2 is just find the distance. Remember, the formula says you find the y distance first. So how far is it from 4 to 3? Well, I went down by 1, so that would be the rise. And then I went from 1 to 2, I went up by 1, so that would be a positive 1. So my rise over run would simplify to -1. So your slope is -1. So either way, you can use ordered pairs with a formula, or you can do the change in y value over the change in x value. My recommendation is you always write down what you got for the y value first, and then do the x value so you don't forget which one goes on the top, because that's usually the biggest mistake I see. All right, number 8. Write an equation of a line that passes through these ordered pairs in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So you need to pay attention. What is it asking for? It's asking for an equation. So we don't just find the slope, we need to find the equation. So in order to find an equation, you need two things. You need m and you need b. Well, m stands for slope, so we're going to go ahead and find our slope. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So step 1, I'm going to go ahead and find the slope. So my formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to plug in the values that I've been given. -22 minus -13, and 8 minus -1. So that's going to go ahead, I'm going to do that math real quick, and that gives me 9, and that gives me -9. So my slope is actually -1. So m is -1. Now the more complicated part is to find my b. So obviously neither ordered pair are the slope-intercept because x isn't 0 here and x is not 0 there. And that would make my y-intercept. So I have to do a little bit more work. So I need to pick one ordered pair because I'm going to solve for b. And if I'm solving for b, that means I can't have more than one variable in this equation. I need to fill these in with numbers. Well, m we just found was -1. So I need to find an x value and a y value. So, well, luckily they gave me an x and a y value, so I can pick either one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick this one here. So y2, I'm going to use as the y value, so negative 22. And then my x value is 8, so I'm going to put that where the x value goes. And we're going to solve this equation to solve for b. Step 1, we're going to multiply those two terms. You get negative 8 and bring the rest of it down. So I knew the inverse to move that 8 over to the other side of the equal sign. That's at my 0 pair. And I'm going to do negative 22 plus 8, and that's going to give me negative 14. So now I have my b value is negative 14. So now, remember, it asked me for my equation in slope-intercept form. So I know my formula is y, or my equation is y equals my slope, negative 1. So I'm just going to write negative x, and then my y-intercept, which is negative 14. Right. Next one. Write an equation for the graph line. All right. Well, these are those unique equations, or graphs, lines rather, that have, this one is obviously a vertical line, which means it's an undefined slope. That's not what it's asking. It didn't ask me what's the slope. It asked me what's the equation. Well, you can do it where you're finding the m and b, but because these are unique, you might notice it only passes through the x-axis. And what number did it pass through the x-axis the entire time? Well, it passed through at the value of 3. Again, you can kind of make a table just to look at what that looks like. So if I did 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6, right? All you'll notice is all the x values are 3. And that's why our equation is x equals 3. Undefined slope. Okay, let's look at the next one. Again, they're not asking, is this a 0 slope, which it is. It's asking us for the equation in slope-intercept form, right? Or our equation for the line. So if you're not sure what those look like, you might notice, one, it only passes through the y-axis, right? So that's important. And again, if you're not sure what that looks like, make a little quick table. So let's pick some ordered pairs from here. That would be at 2, 5, 3, 5, and 4, 5. So what do you notice about this? Oh, all of our y's have the same value because this line only passes the y-axis at the value of 5. That's my equation.